Scams. I got a wonderful question from a viewer about scams and how to be aware of scams in retirement. I'm Robin. I'm a certified financial planner, certified private wealth advisor, wealth manager by trade, and your rich auntie. And today I'm going to be talking about scams and how to avoid them. Something that people don't know about financial advisors and wealth managers is that we do a lot of consistent training to be able to identify scams. And there are tens of thousands of scams that are happening at any given moment. But we do continuing education credits and classes to keep our credentials and license active. And there is invariably, year after year, a session on scams, fraud, elder abuse, etc. And we as financial advisors and wealth managers are expected to be able to recognize the signs of frauds and scams when we see them. I've been a financial advisor for nearly 10 years and I have seen every flavor of scams, and I am including cults into scams because I have had clients get pulled into cults with devastating consequences. One thing I think is super important to recognize, and I think that this is for everyone, including myself, is that everyone, no matter age, location, demographic, level of education, level of intelligence, everyone on earth, I believe, is susceptible to being scammed. It depends on the person, it depends on what's going on around them, circumstances that are happening in life, but I think one of the biggest problems I've seen in people is a belief that they are invincible or invulnerable to being scammed. We all, as humans, under the right condition, can be scammed. And a lot of people don't know this, but financial advisors and wealth managers are often targeted for scams because we have access to large amount of money. I manage money across numerous accounts for numerous different people. So I always have to be on guard in my work and in my profession about scammers, scams, and opportunities. Also, there are safeguards that the organizations we work for put into place. So if, let's say, a financial advisor is scammed, hopefully the second level barriers that the organization puts in place will be able to catch that this is a scam working and someone needs to step in and put a stop to this. In my 10 years of being a financial advisor, I've seen clients in the midst of scams, and I've had the great joy of helping people recover money in a handful of cases who have been scammed. And another very, very important thing I would say about scams and frauds, a lot of people don't recognize this, but in 70 to 80% of the cases, it's often committed by family, friends, or someone who is known and known well to the victim. When we think of scams, we think of someone sitting in the internet in Nigeria or India sending emails or voicemails or this or that. That represents a portion of fraud and scams. But here in the United States, the vast majority of scams or frauds are perpetrated by friends, family members, or someone who is known to the victim. And about 20 to 30% of scams are perpetrated by, internet, social media, someone sitting in a call center in Mumbai who's perpetrating romance scams or reaching out to elderly or frail Americans. That's more the exception than the rule. There's also specific points in our lives where I think we are very vulnerable to being scams. And when I see clients that are experiencing one of these life events, I always pay close attention to their story and what's going on with their finances. Sudden changes in jobs. They've been working for the same company for 25 years and suddenly they're laid off. Changes in relationship, their spouse dies or a best friend or family member dies, or even like a pet dies. Oftentimes they're dealing with a major life challenge, or they're joining a new organization and suddenly this organization has all the answers to life's most difficult questions. That's usually an indication that this person can be perhaps being drawn into a cult or a cult-like situation. So there's certain indicators that I definitely do listen for people. And for my widowed and clients who have experienced loss, I do keep special tabs on them and their accounts to make sure that they are not being taken advantage of. Most people assume that the people who are very susceptible to scams are like the silent generation and the baby boomers. And actually, Gen Z and millennials are most susceptible to scams. And most of their scams are not perpetrated by their friends or family members, they're perpetrated by social media. Someone sees something on TikTok or someone sees something on YouTube that is offering irresistible returns, they get sucked in. Oftentimes, my younger clients who are millennial Gen Zers are often very ashamed of it because, in retrospect, all the signs were there that they were being scammed, but they often didn't have the foresight or the life experience that maybe someone who is older and more mature has to be able to avoid that scam. So there's all different flavors of scams, and I do my annual training to get my credentialed and licensing, and I also follow scams on YouTube just to kind of keep tabs on what's hot in the street and be able to tell what's coming up in the world of scams in case I encounter it. But there's just so many scams out there. I could do a video 3 days long and only hit on the surface of scams that are available and that are circulating at any given moment. I will tell you what I, as a financial advisor, would warn a person, especially a person who's near retirement, because retirees can be targeted because scammers often know that the person has a large sum of money that they've saved up over a lifetime, and scammers, fraudsters want a piece of that action when the person is nearing retirement and can access that money. So first things first, be aware of friends and family. Like I said, the vast majority of scams that occur, especially for older people, occur unfortunately with the help of friends and families. It may be a child that's scamming a parent. It may be siblings. One sibling is scamming the other sibling. It may be a parent who is scamming a child. These are all very, very difficult cases when they occur because it affects, of course, the friendship or the family relationship. And it's always a question of, should I turn this person over to the police? What they're doing is clearly illegal, but I don't want my son to go to jail, or I don't want put my mom in jail, or I don't want to put my brother in jail. So these are always very difficult cases. But what I always say is be aware of friends and family. And sometimes it's not a first degree friend or family that can create the problem. Many years ago, there was a situation with a client whose kid mentioned something to a friend, and that friend set the family up. So it was kind of second degree that this kid mentioned something to someone that set the entire family up to be robbed. I always say people should know about your finances, especially if you have significant assets, on an as need to know basis. If people don't need to know about it, then they shouldn't be told the details of your personal financial situations. And that's to protect you not just from strangers, but also from friends or family who are the ones most likely to either scam you themselves or inadvertently set up a situation where you are to be scammed or robbed. Number two, the less people who know about you and your finances, the better. I do have clients who love, luxury cars and designer clothing and designer handbags and jewelry, but those things telegraph information to people. We've all heard of cases where individuals on social media flashing money or jewelry or assets were then subsequently robbed. It's the same in real life. If you're out and about and you're wearing designer clothing, carrying a designer bag and getting in a luxury car, you're telegraphing to people that you have money. And that's not to say that you should, live like a pauper. Just be very cautious where you are, your surroundings, and what message you're telegraphing about yourself and what you have to other people. Because I have had people who were targeted for scammers, even because it was quite obvious that they had money and they had a lot of money. The third thing that I would say in terms of avoiding scammers is don't invest in something you don't understand. If you don't understand NFTs, don't buy NFTs. If you don't understand crypto, don't buy crypto. I, as a financial advisor, do not put people in investments they do not understand, because that is a really fast way to upset a client. If the investment behaves in a way other than they're expecting, there could be some very negative outcomes. But It's okay not to understand every single investment out there, even investments that are offered by professionals, whether it be a financial advisor or an accountant. If it cannot be clearly explained to you in a way that you are comfortable and confident that you understand how it works, or you have never heard of this investment, again, it's perfectly okay to say pass. A lot of scammers use the fear of missing out on people, and they'll say, oh, this is going to be the next Bitcoin. You know, this is like what Bitcoin was in 2012. It's a way of trying to circumnavigate your natural skeptical or skepticism about a new investment. If you don't understand it, if you've never heard of it, if it cannot be succinctly explained to you in a way that you understand it and are comfortable with it, do not invest in it. Number 4, brokercheck.com. If you go to BrokerCheck and if you look me up, Robin Patan, you'll see that I'm a financial advisor, the year that I was licensed, what licenses are active, if I have any bankruptcies or there's any complaints against me. BrokerCheck is a wonderful tool if you are searching for a financial planner to make sure that this person is certified. BrokerCheck is not the final word. There's recently been a case where a woman was scammed out of a 6-figure amount of money, and she did check out the advisor on BrokerCheck and found him there and decided to invest with him. What she didn't know was that the advisor had assumed the identity of an actual advisor and was operating under a fraudulent name. So anytime that you are considering working with an advisor, make sure they are in BrokerCheck, but you also want to make sure this person is who they are claiming to be. There's a prevalence of financial professionals on social media, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. But sometimes when a person gives you a name, that's not who they really are, and the person may check out on BrokerCheck simply because they are usually using a fraudulent identity from BrokerCheck. Next, number 5, if you are working or planning to work with a financial advisor or a wealth manager, try to meet with that financial manager or wealth advisor at least once face-to-face in their office. Reason being, there are certain cues that you are going to pick up and that you will only pick up if you are face-to-face in that office. How do you feel? How does the office look? Do you have a chance to meet their assistants? How long have they been in the office? Does the office actually look like a financial advisor's office? Sometimes people are able to just shut down scams by just meeting the person face to face. It's much harder to craft a fantasy and to lie looking someone dead in the eye across a desk than it is to do on social media via phone, via text, or via Instagram or YouTube or TikTok. So if you can, it's always best to meet that person face to face at least once. If you cannot meet that person face to face, if you can meet that person over Zoom, and oftentimes there are things that you can detect over Zoom if something isn't right, but face to face always beats all, and that's always the optimal experience for establishing a client relationship. Next, be very careful of people on social media soliciting clients. And it's a bit ironic because I'm on social media. I'm not directly soliciting clients, and I don't really use this as YouTube as a venue to obtain clients. But be very careful of financial professionals who are declaring themselves financial professionals on YouTube and social media. Some financial professionals are indeed financial professionals, and they are wonderful. There are a lot of scammers and people who are calling themselves financial professionals who have no financial credentials, license, or no business advising anyone on finances on this very platform. I can easily detect who is a professional and who's not, but it's because I've been a financial professional for 10 years. And I will say there are active scammers on the YouTube platform who are 100% stone cold scammers. And but if you're not a financial professional and you don't have deep financial knowledge, you may not know who these people are or know the telltale signs that these people are indeed operating a scam. One thing I can tell you is be very leery of someone that does not operate under their own name. Now, I go under Your Rich Auntie. My name is Robin Patan. You can look me up. I'm very transparent about who I am as a professional on this platform, but you may run across someone who's like the money dude or, I don't know, chicks with money, or I'm not naming real YouTubers, but people with names like that. And you can't really tell their real identity from their social media identity. That's a huge red flag, because you can't adequately do a background search on this person because you don't know their first and their last name. Be careful of people who have multiple names. One tell that you're dealing with a scammer is, you do some research and there's 4 different names that come up for them. There's no reason for that unless they're trying to hide something. If the person doesn't operate under their own name and you can't discern that person's real name and real identity, please do beware, because that could be a sign that there's something more going on behind the scenes. So another question that you should ask before deciding to work with an advisor, especially in retirement accounts, is who does this person clear through? Meaning, who holds the assets? And this is very important because, as a wealth manager, financial advisor, I don't hold people's assets in my personal bank account or at my personal bank. I clear through Schwab, which means if something happens to me, or I'm hit by a bus or this or that, and the person needs their money, they can go directly to Schwab and get answers and get access to their money. Or an advisor may clear through Fidelity or Morgan Stanley or this company or that company. You need to know where is holding your money and who can be ultimately responsible in case questions arise, or in case your financial advisor disappears or is incapacitated, how you can get access to your money. So always ask, who does the financial advisor clear through? And you may want to call that company and verify that that advisor actually clears through that company. But remember, it only works if your financial advisor is giving you their real name and real identity. People have been scammed in calling, let's say, Schwab to ask if their advisor clears. And Schwab will say, yes, this person does clear through us, but the scammer is using a real financial advisor's name and identity instead of their own identity. So be careful of that. Never transfer funds to cryptocurrencies to send, or foreign currencies to send your money to an advisor. No credible advisor would ever ask you to do that in a million years. And a recent scam involving a woman's retirement account, that's exactly what the advisor asked her to do. So she transferred hundreds of thousands of dollars to crypto and then sent that crypto to the advisor, who invested it and disappeared. No credible advisor would ask you to transition your money to Bitcoin or Ethereum or any cryptocurrency. No credible advisor would ask you to put your money into a different foreign currency. It's just, we don't do that. We don't do that. So anytime you're dealing with someone and they're asking for gift cards, they're asking for Bitcoin, they're asking for crypto, they're asking for foreign currency, pretty much it's a scam. It's a scam. This is an important one. Simply Google who you're going to be working with, or Google that person to tell if they're credible. I have had situations, and this was a very interesting situation towards the beginning of my career, where this client was starting a business with someone. And I was asking some questions about the start of the business and the business partner. And the business partner had a relatively unique name. I put their name into a Google search engine, and within 5 minutes, we found that the supposed new business partner had an outstanding warrant in a different state. And of course, the client was completely floored, did not know this, did not Google the person before starting down the pathway of starting a business, and was quite shocked to find out this person had many factors about their personality and their history that they had not at all disclosed. Sometimes you can resolve a lot of issues by simply Googling someone. You do have to have their real name to be able to Google them, and some scammers often will not give you their real name. But as a starting point, Google someone. What comes up? Does a picture come up? Can you verify with a picture and the name that this is the person that you are dealing with? Now, sometimes scammers can create whole Google backstories and web pages with their false identity, so it's not the end all to be all, but it is the start. Finally, number 10, referrals. Most of my business operates through referrals. I have to know, like, and trust you to refer you and to receive a referral from you. These are often people I have known for many years. And I have met them under a variety of circumstances. I have done business with them before. I know their family. I know their backgrounds. We are becoming a society where everything that is valuable is going to operate from human contact and referrals, because it's the strongest way to be able to shut down a scam. Is if I know, like, and trust this person, I've worked with him for 8 years, I know his personality, I know his family, and he's coming in with an unusual request, or I'm getting an unusual request via email, I know to investigate this more, because this isn't how this person operates. I personally, as a financial advisor, will not move money for a client without at least talking to them on the phone for a few minutes to find out when, how, where they need this money and why they need this money. Well, that shuts down the possibility of sending me an email and requesting a wire and having me just shoot money out. No, you're going to talk to me before I send anything out. With wires, I always have to verify wire instructions 6 ways from Sunday before I send anything out, because some wire instructions are intercepted by foreign entities and you end up wiring the money to Nigeria. There are certain things that we do as financial advisors and wealth managers to protect ourselves and our clients against being scammed. But the strongest thing that we do as financial advisors and wealth managers is that we often operate through a network of referrals of people we know, like, and trust, and have known, liked, and trust for long periods of time, and we know how they operate and we know how they do business. So there you have it. Scams and scammers. What you can do to protect yourself from scams, and what I do as a financial professional to protect myself and protect my clients from scams. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like. If you found this information useful, please like, please share, and please subscribe. Thank you.